Hello everybody, Reggie Time here. Welcome to the vlog update for the third week in January. I haven't played too much this week for various reasons, which I'll explain before we go on to something that I just want to talk about at the end about game selection and why I think it's important and how you should go about it. But first we'll look at the results of the week. We started from the 13th, which was a Saturday, because last week's blog went out on a Friday, so we've kind of moved the day to a Friday now. It might move back to a Monday again, who knows. The reason to moved it to a Friday we explained last week. The nuts and bolts of it was I wanted to try and draw a line under what was a pretty grim week, and that kind of put a marker in the sand for draw a line under it, and she said, look, we're going to move on from this now. We've processed it, we've dealt with it, we've chatted about it, and by and large it's gone okay. My very first session after that was a £19 losing session, no big deal. But since then we've strung together, well, that was just nothing. We strung together some winning sessions back on Sky. The live is Unibet, and then we've kind of put the turbo on towards the end of the week on Sky. Not sure what that one was, that 13th. That wasn't Sky. Maybe that was, I think that was Unibet 2. I'm not sure why it's not saying live there, because that live is Unibet, by the way. That was definitely Unibet 2. And we moved back to Sky a couple of, I think it was earlier in the week, Monday maybe, I think. I want to say, could have been Monday. So yeah, why has my volume been low this week? Well, I've had a fun week. Monday I was working, seeing the family, etc. Didn't get too many hands in. Tuesday I didn't play at all because my wife and I went to watch a recording of the auditions for Britain's Got Talent in Blackpool. We actually got to see a golden buzzer at get through, which to some of you might mean fuck all, but if you're a BGT fan, it'll mean something to you. I don't think he was that good. I don't think we've seen a potential winner, but it was a good fun night out, apart from the fact that because all the tickets are free, we had to get there early, queue in the rain and the wind, and it's fucking cold, and I forgot to take a bastard coat with me, so I was freezing my little knackers off for about 45 minutes queuing for our tickets, thinking, oh, well, we'll get in about 6 o'clock, get warm, and then they said come back at 8 o'clock. So we had to find ways to entertain ourselves in a rainy, windy Blackpool for the best part of 3.5 hours. And I could easily entertain myself in Blackpool for 3.5 hours on a nice sunny day, but in the pissing down, blowing a fucking absolute enormous gale, January or whatever it would have been, 17, 16, something like that. It was difficult. It wasn't easy to do. We ended up just spending some money in the shove opening machines and things. No big deal, but it wasn't too much fun, and drinking lots of cups of tea. But yeah, overall it was a good day. It was well worth doing. I'm definitely going to try and do it again. It was fun. So that's why we didn't play much on Tuesday. On Wednesday I did a 10-hour shift in work. When I came home I was tired. I went to look at the tables. Played a little bit, not much going on, left it off, and then tonight we've put in a small session and we've managed to game select really well, getting some good situations. Even still, I did run a little bit bad. Got aces cracked by kings and something else I can't remember now, but no big deal, it happens. But we managed to book a £50 win, which has kind of put a nice little turbo charge on the week. So we've won £93 this week all told, which is nice. Puts our total cash profit for the year up to 339 less whatever it is we lost on thingy last week, which I can't remember now. But yeah, on Sky / Unibet my hourly rate is 9.64. If we just use my Sky hourly rate at the minute, it'd be off the charts. But again, that's going to have a lot to do with that massive PLO session I had a week and a half ago. So my hourly rate is still nowhere near settled down yet. No idea when it's going to settle down. I'd expect it to be something around that, given how I approach poker, just looking for like 2 to 4 tables of like really, really good tables with lots of fish on. I expect my hourly rate to be somewhere around that, but we'll see when it comes out later in the year. So yeah, there's the results for the week. Now I just want to move on to something that I think is really important, and to explain why I think it's important, and explain why I think so many of you guys who are pretty like decent, competent poker players probably are struggling to make money. I think lots of guys are missing a very key point, and we're going to try and cover that now. I've even made some slides this week. They're a bit shit, they're very basic, but we've made some slides. Look, so the first question you should ask yourself when you join a session, if you're playing regular tables, is this table worth playing? I see so many moronic regulars on Sky, and they are morons, there's no other way to describe them. Just playing each other, they're chasing, they've got some ridiculous fucking pentagon promotion going at the moment. Don't even know where to get the fucking name from. But it's just a bunch of leagues. It's just another way of describing a shit rake race in various different leagues and categories. And for the guys that win the leagues or finish in the top 3, they're probably making a decent amount of extra money with the rake back. Probably getting close to 100% rake back. But then there's all the guys who aren't getting enough rake, aren't making enough money. Aren't getting enough volume in. They're finishing and they're maybe getting an extra £20 or £30 rake back on top of what they normally get, maybe even £50. But they're just playing shit games all week, and probably, I would imagine, playing break even or losing poker to do so. The top guys that are doing it, the guys that are managing to play the 12, 16 tables and finishing in the top 3 in these leagues, more power to them. It's not something I'd want to do, but fair play, it works for them. There's lots and lots of guys finishing in 10th, 12th, 15th, whatever, and I think they're making a huge mistake, but whatever, it's up to them. It's their time, their money, I guess. But to me, they're just busy fools. So for me, this is like my test of what I do for when I join a table. Is the table worth playing? So a table needs to have enough dead money on it to make it worthwhile playing for me. And for the dead money is a player is money in front of somebody with a significant negative win rate. I don't go looking for players that are like losing 2 to 5 big blinds, 100. They're not, for me, they're not a reason to take the table. Yeah, they're not good players, they're making mistakes, but they're barely covering the rake, and we're going to cover that on the next slide. And I'm always looking for players that are losing at 10 big blinds or even higher. There's lots of people on Sky who must be losing at absurd rates, 50, 60 blinds, 100, and those are the guys I'm looking for. I'd rather play 2 or 3 tables with 1 or 2 of those guys than play 6 or 7 tables with mostly these types of players here, like these ones here. And this is a big mistake I think tons of Sky players are making. They're just sitting at lots of tables where they don't have an edge, or they don't have enough of an edge, and I think it's a massive mistake, and I think it's something I don't want the guys who watch my channel to make. So again, is the table worth playing? And we're going to look at this table. We've got a break-even player in seat 1. We've got another break-even player in seat 2, a decent winning player in seat 3, and then we've got ourselves. And then you've got 2 players losing at 5 blinds, 100. Now on Sky, this rake might be even higher than this, I'm not sure, because the rake is pretty high on Sky, but we're going to assume the rake's 10 blinds, 100. In lots of places, it's a lot higher. I'm sure if you look at your Holder Manager database, there'll be lots of guys who, when they look at like how much rake they paid versus hands they played, they might even be getting raked at 12, 13 blinds, 100, and that could definitely be possible on Sky. This could be way out. This rake at like 20 now on Sky could easily come to 15 blinds, 100. Sky could easily be raking 15 blinds, 100 out of these games, if not more. But we're going to say 10 just for argument's sake. So we've got 2 losing players, both losing at 5 big blinds, 100. So where's your money coming from there? Sky are raking 10 big blinds, 100 off the table or more. These guys are losing 5 big blinds per 100 each, so they're covering the rake. But then where's your money coming from? Now look at the rest of the table. You're just breaking even at best. Sometimes you're having winning sessions, sometimes you're having losing sessions, but long term, you're just breaking even because there's nobody here to win from. So you don't want these tables. You've got 2 losing players. You think, oh, good, I've got 2 fish, let's go. But if the fish need to be losing enough to more than just cover the rake, because if all they're doing is losing enough to cover the rake, then your win rate is theoretically going to be 0 big blinds, 100, and you're just going to have fucking loads of variance. You're going to have the times where you're winning really well and you're going to overestimate your edge against especially the break-even players. You're going to think you're probably crushing them when you're not, and then you're going to have times when you're absolutely getting slaughtered, and you're going to start having real confidence issues, doubting everything you're doing, thinking, you know what, am I good enough to beat these games? Am I good enough to win in these games? Well, you are if you choose the right tables, but most guys aren't going to be good enough to beat these tables. This is the only guy who's probably going to be winning at this table, the decent winning player, because he's going to be able to make money from the break-even players as well as these guys too. So you need to be that decent winning player to make these guys the losers at your table, if that makes sense. It's a little bit convoluted. Well, not convoluted, but it's, yeah, if you think you're better than these 2 guys, then by all means stay at the table if volume's your goal, but are you really better than these 2 guys? And that's what you need to figure out. Are you looking at a win rate against these guys and like losing some back to this guy and breaking even with these? Who knows? But basically it's just not a particularly good table. So what does a table look like, a good table look like to me? That will be this one. you'd have a break-even player, you'd have a decent winning player, or maybe not even 2 break-even players, but this is like an acceptable table. Yourself, then you've got a losing player at 5 big blinds, you've got a losing player at 10 big blinds, a losing player at 20 big blinds. So then you've got this guy here that's covering the rake, assuming the rake's 10 big blinds at 100, and then there's 25 big blinds per 100 to fight over theoretically against these two. So even if it's being split evenly, which it probably isn't, because this guy's probably still winning the most, a decent winning player, or if you are the decent winning player, then maybe you're the guy that's getting the lion's share, but theoretically you're going to get at least a third of 25 blinds 100. So you're going to have a win rate of 8 blinds 100 at that table. And if you can have 3 or 4 tables like this up, or 2 or 3 tables like this, it's going to be much, much, much better than having 6 tables of that. 2 of these is better than 6 of these. 2 of these is probably better than 8 of these. Just don't be a busy fool. I guess that's what I'm saying, and that's where I think I find an edge against the game. Do I find an edge against a decent winning player? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe the fact that I'm playing less tables allows me to take more time over my decisions and just play better poker than him. If him and I were just playing 1 table, he might be better than me, but him playing 16 tables or 12 tables or 8 tables might reduce his edge against me to whereas I'm actually making money from him too. Even though he's better than me at poker, I might be making money from him too, because I'm going to be making much better decisions in the close spots, I would imagine, than he is, because he's the one that's playing 16 tables and having Sky flashing at him every 30 seconds, or he's the one playing 12 tables. So yeah, he might be better than me at poker, but he's not actually realising his edge against me, because he's not allowing himself to, because of the pressure that time's putting on him, and time banks, and especially on Sky when the time bank's so low. So just think about yourselves. If you have been like breaking even for a long time, slight losing player, but you're working really hard on your game, you think you have a good grasp of things, just ask yourself, am I actually sitting at appropriate tables for myself? And I know I've talked about this a lot of times, but I think it's getting more and more important. I've seen my Facebook group, and I'm seeing lots of players who are getting really like downbeat and frustrated with poker because they just can't get out of the rut that they're in. They may be slightly losing players. Maybe they just break even and they're getting the ups and the downs, and the ups aren't as satisfying as the downs are devastating, and all of those things. And I just think, give yourselves a break, guys. Just go and find some better tables. Maybe some of the guys, maybe they're not going to be good enough, and maybe they're going to go and find MTTs, which is something I'm hoping to build into my poker portfolio this year. No limit hold'em, well, just general cash games in general, they are getting harder and harder, and they ain't going to get easier anytime soon. So if you're not staying ahead of the curve with what you're learning, with what you're studying, which is really hard for most recreational players who are trying to hold down a family life and a job as well, it's really hard to do all of that and stay ahead of the curve at poker. Then where can you find some kind of advantage? And that advantage has to be in game selection. It has to be in not overburdening yourself with too many bad tables. All of those things. There's still money to be made, undoubtedly, but I think if you're the guy, if you're not ahead of the curve and you're not someone who's got a lot of time to commit to poker, I think you need to maybe be a little bit more pragmatic about things, and just go through this video again, look back and think, am I really finding good tables? Is this guy that I play every day that plays 2 or 3 tables that I think I'm better than, do I have a real visible tangible edge against him, or are we just like pushing chips around versus each other and just paying Sky or Unibet or PokerStars for the privilege of it? So yeah, hopefully it's been some use to some of you guys. Like I say, my slide making isn't great, it's never going to be. My videos have never been particularly high on production values, but hopefully the content for the players it's aimed at, which is the break even and losing players, hopefully this content makes up for the rather limited production values. Please let me know what you think of the video. If you want to call me a bum hunting moron or whatever, just go for it, abuse me. If you are going to abuse me, please make it funny. But hopefully some of you guys are getting something from this, from the content that I'm creating, and we'll see you all soon. I'm thinking of maybe producing a live play video from Sky sometime next week. I'm not sure, it's difficult on Sky to create content, but hopefully we're back with something in the middle of next week, and then back with the vlog next Friday the 26th. Have a good week, everybody. Have a good weekend, and take care.